and her 14-year-old daughter, Rihanna. Sandy is very afraid that her daughter may end up in danger, pregnant, or even dead. Sandy says her daughter was 12 years old when she snuck out of the house to have sex. Rihanna says she has had sex with men ages 14 to 22, and she says, quote, "My mom sticks her nose in all of my business and it doesn't belong there," end quote. Rihanna also says sex is something to do, like when you're drunk or you're high. Sandy, let me start with you. You think you want to chain Rihanna down or put a chastity belt or something like that on her?
Yes,
You're afraid
I do.
she might not reach her next birthday.
Yes, this is true. I'd like to put a chastity belt so thick that a cutting torch would not go through it.
Are things really that bad?
Sure, they're that bad. In fact, I remember back when she was 12 years old when I first found out about this, and I found out she used to sneak out the back door at night while I was asleep and go 2 doors down and knock on a window of a neighbor boy. And when I found out about that, well, I was real upset about that, and I found out the first time she had sex was in my home.
Is she having a lot of sex with a lot of young men?
At that time, I thought no. I thought it was, you know, just a one-time
But now that she's
experimental
14
thing.
and old.
Well, 14 and older. But yeah, she is. And now I'm worried about it. I've had the talks with AIDS with her. I've had the talks
Birth
about
control? Are you on birth control?
condoms. No, she won't use birth control. She refuses.
You will not use birth control?
No.
Can I ask why?
Well, I heard from a lot of people that birth control will screw up your system, and I'm not going to have my system screwed up.
Who are these people? Wait, who are the, I'm dying to ask, who are these learned people who told you that birth control screws up your system?
Well,
Your doctor? Did he tell you that?
No, when I went to the clinic, a person at the clinic told me not to get on birth control because it'll screw up your system.
We need the name of that clinic, okay? That's very important. Your mother's making you out to maybe there'd be something worth it, but you wonder why do it? And that maybe is the next question. This is Gidget and her 14-year-old daughter, Kimley. It's our day for 14-year-olds. Gidget says she can't control her daughter, and at this point she's desperate, just like Sandy. Gidget, why do you think Kimley is growing up too fast? What's happening?
Kimley started growing up too fast a long time ago. She's always been very independent and very self-willed, strong-minded. Actually, I would say more like pig-headed and stubborn, really, if I was being totally honest. It's very hard. See? It's very hard to tell her anything. She doesn't want to hear what I've got to say. She's already been sexually active for at least a year. I live almost 2,000 miles away from her right now.
Why?
Her father and I separated 4 years ago, and at that time it seemed her need or her urge to grow up more rapidly escalated. And she got more and more wild.
She was
I'm not
10
wild.
at that time.
I'm not wild. I have control over myself.
There you go. She has control over herself. She
Because
believes
I
she's...
need to, and I know what I'm doing when I do something.
Kimley, let's be specific. Kimley wants very much to have a baby. She's 14. Why, Kimley?
I want a baby because I don't have anybody around. I live with my father, and when he's not working, he's with his girlfriend, so I'm alone.
Okay.
If I had a baby, it would be somebody to love me unconditionally.
Why don't you live with your mom?
Because it's just easier to live with my dad.
Why is it easier to live with your dad?
Because he's not home very often.
But why don't you live with your mom? Your mom would love you unconditionally.
Because I would kill my sister.
Why would you kill your sister?
She's a little brat.
She's a little brat. How old is your sister?
13.
And you can't get along with her,
At
so
all.
you've gone
No.
to live. Why do you allow this child to live with her father if the father is not mature
I've
enough
tried to
take-
have her live with me, Sally. I brought her out to live with...
Sometimes no. Is that what's bothering you?
That is bothering me, yes.
She is sleeping with him.
Because
And
I think at 15, as a parent, I have the responsibility of...
what happens if you get pregnant?
If I get pregnant, that would be a bad thing to happen to me. I'm 15 years old. I mean, I plan on going to college. I plan on having a future and getting a job. If I were to get pregnant and have a baby, I would have the baby. I would not get an abortion or anything. It would be all on me and Ryan, and I'm
But Ryan
willing-
has no job. How are you and Ryan?
Yeah, he does have a job.
Yeah, he recently got a job at Julie's recommendation.
Oh, good. What does he do?
He works at a fast food restaurant.
But
Better than nothing. It's better than nothing.
I mean, Mom, I must say.
Why don't we
this.
hear what Ryan has to say? Come on out, Ryan. Ryan, you seem serious about your relationship with Julie, are you?
Very serious.
Okay. Even though you're 19 and she's 15?
Yep.
Are you aware that in a lot of states you too could be arrested?
Yep.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
It's love.
It's love?
Why should there be an age difference on love?
I don't know. You have to talk to the law.
Speaking of age differences, her and her husband are 9 years apart.
How old were they when they met?
We met when I was either 22 or 23.
I guess maybe there's a difference.
I mean, I was out of college. I was working.
You were not a minor?
No. And we had
The
dated.
answer is she wasn't a minor.
We dated 3 years before we got married. We were friends in the beginning, and then it developed from that. And I don't
But your
think...
problem is with their relationship, not with him. You like him, right? 18 to me.
18.
You have a child?
Yes, I do.
And you're not using birth control with this young lady?
No.
What about...
Why
how
not,
many
Donnie? I gave you a whole bag of condoms. Why aren't you using them?
I use them, yeah.
Do you remember when I caught you and Rihanna having sex in my house?
Yes, I do.
Me and Jerry, I just got engaged to Jerry, and he just came home.
Yes.
And we heard some noise coming from Rihanna's room, and I had to get up. This was when I thought she wasn't doing anything, okay? I got up to find out what was going on, and I slam open the door, and I see your little butt, okay? And I walked out of the room because I was outraged. I was very upset. That's the first time I've ever seen my daughter in that position. Now... Okay, well, wait, I'm not done yet. Now, Sally, listen to this, okay? I left the room, okay? I was very upset. I left the room. I went and got my boyfriend and said,
I'm still
Jerry.
trying to find out. I'm mother of 2 perfect children, okay? And it's all because she was a good mother and raised them right. Chris, you have a problem with these mothers? Why?
Oh, God. I think that the things I've heard are self-centered, selfish, lazy, unavailable, either that or these mothers have been in a coma for the last 10 or 12 or 15 years.
I don't think so. You have perfect children. Children are not perfect.
You know, I don't believe, excuse me.
Excuse me,
I
when you
listened
first
to
sat
you.
down here, you said you weren't going to try to judge us. You just did.
No, I did not.
Oh, baloney.
I don't believe...
You barely heard anything that I said about what's going
You know
on
what?
in my life.
Excuse me. For the last probably 30
Where are your
minutes,
perfect
I have
children?
listened
Not to me.
you. Yes, I have
I have
listened to you.
barely spoken.
Absolutely, I have listened to you.
Where are your perfect children?
They're at school.
Anna has had a very early sexual identity, and I don't think she knows what the heck sex and love is, and I think she's mixed up the two totally. She has been promiscuous. She doesn't care about getting pregnant. She doesn't care about AIDS. I think what she has used is sex to get friends, to get boyfriends, and has totally abused the whole thing. And I think she's been abused sexually by these guys. This 37-year-old man playing with her, that's ridiculous. And I think that I understand where Mom's coming from and that she feels her hands are tied, but if Mom doesn't do something soon, you're going to be a grandma. Real soon, and you need to put your foot down on that and stop the situation. Just because they're living in your house doesn't mean they're not going to get pregnant.
For one thing, this 37-year-old man was not playing with me. I was drunk, I was high, yeah.
He got you that way.
Okay? Yeah, he bought the stuff for me, but
you and your
I
girlfriend.
asked for it.
You have a history.
You didn't
You have a